Hey folks, we're going to do some artwork this morning. Give me a second here to check my signal, make sure we're live. I'll go through a quick intro and then we'll get to work here for about an hour and a half. Let's see, I'm pressing buttons here, checking volume. I hear you. Drop that down like yonder. Get that sound out of the way so it doesn't foul up myself. I'm going to distract you with my origin story. Hey, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games. I illustrate them. I publish them online. And I'm creating content for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. I've been a DM since 1987. I've been a freelance illustrator since 1999. I've been an Eberron enthusiast since 2004. And I've been creating content on the DMsGuild since 2018. But I have yet to publish an adventure or anything directly related to Eberron. So this adventure is resolving both of those. Crystals and Mabars for characters level 7 to 8. You're fighting necromancers, demons, and undead in the wood of Karnath on the continent of Corvair. Here and we're done. So hey, new subscribers, thanks a lot, guys. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notification of when we're live in the future. Here's the full playlist of all 458 episodes. Discord community, Patreon support if you want, or best way to support me is to buy some of my books, play them in your 5e game, and let me know if they're cool. So that's where we're at. I'm going to do some more artwork. Yes, I can definitely hear myself and it's bothering me, so I'm going to see if I can. There we go. That should be good enough. Let's grab my favorite stylus rump and let's get after it. All right, book cover. We made this around episode 40. Here. Yeah. Yeah. It's fun. And you see it on the rack like that, it's kind of like a demonic face. I like that. Let's get that out of the way. And we're making artifacts. So each of these artifacts connects to a different plane in the Eberron campaign setting. When used, it will create a manifest zone converging both planes together. And then if it stabilizes long enough, a portal will open that allows free passes between both planes. So yesterday and last night, yesterday I was working on and finished last night the seed of Lamania that will grow a forest. Like I was just saying, as a manifest zone. We did the Anvil of Rizia, the plane of ice prior to that. Just finished the Cauldron of Kithri and the Parasol of Irian. The Lantern of Delur, it emits darkness, so if it dwells in darkness, if it's active and the darkness dwells long enough, it deepens into a manifest zone, which will eventually open a rift directly to Delur. Hey Steve, how you doing? I've yet to finish the Sextant. I have a little bit of work I want to do on that one, but for the most part I enjoy it. Sextant on the Sea of Furnia, which is the Furnia, the Sea of Fire. Shavareth, the banner of Shavareth, Shavareth, the eternal battleground. It's kind of like Carcery, I guess, like a mix between Carcery and Avernus, probably is a good way of putting it. And right now we are working on the flute of, is that Rizia? No, the flute of Sarania. Thank you, the Azure Sky. So this is like a mix between like Elysium and the Plane of Air. For those that knows. So yeah, this is what we're working on. So we have a single layer here. Your eraser will cut through all of it. We're going to work on this piece until it's done. So right now we have a little bit of cleanup because this wood is a little bit too fuzzy. No, that's trimmed too tight. I'm trimming away some of the excess line so I can blend what remains into the rest of the interior color. Sometimes I trim too close. I actually have to be a little bit delicate about this process because it could accidentally create, like if I thin this down too much here, it'll end up making this part over here look weird. So I have to be careful about how I mess with it. But then I can start messing around with the interior and start blending it in and then doing some overlay highlights and replacement shadows. This will turn out well. And I think I really want to crank up the strength on this one right now. Steve, man, how you doing? Once per quarter, I go downtown. I go to downtown Seattle to basically have there's a quarterly meeting at the marketing firm I work at. Get to hang out with the office peeps and, you know, handshake and shit other people that are in the department that I normally don't have physical interaction with because I have a remote job. It's about an hour commute. No, it's only an hour. If I get there at 9 a.m., it's an hour commute. When I go downtown today, it'll be in the afternoon, and that'll be a 2-some-odd hour commute. That'll be obnoxious. But it gives me a little time to prepare for it. Because I see so poorly, I can't really use normal monitors or laptop screens to do my job because they're too small. I just can't. The font is too small. I just can't read them. So I have a 32-inch monitor here at home that I have set up for me to be able to function like a 21st century human. And so they're like, yeah, you go ahead and just do that. You work at home, man. Let's carpet that a little bit. Steve, wasn't this your idea? To set this up to be like a branch, that was not my idea. And I believe that's Steve's idea. Yeah, no kidding, right, man? Fucking gorgeous day. This is like April into June is pretty damn good weather in the Pacific Northwest. It rains a lot in the mornings, but it typically doesn't last all day. And the weather doesn't spike up too quickly. It stays like in the 50s and 60s well into August. And the weather is generally mild. I grew up in Missouri, and it gets hotter quicker. It gets more humid faster, and the weather is far more radical. Like heavy storms. Like the Midwest is churning chaos in the sky. Out here, everything's just casually rolling in from the ocean. It's very chillax. It's like, yeah, we're gonna cause trouble. You know, once we get drunk over land, we'll cause trouble in the interior. But right now, we're just happy to be off the ocean. So it's a very calming experience around here for the most part. We have our windstorms that come in, sure, but we don't get tornadoes. And because I don't know about Oregon, but the Seattle area in particular, with the Puget Sound acting as a natural barricade like a gatehouse against against the ocean. Most of the heavy activity breaks across the Olympian Peninsula before it rolls over the Puget Sound and then hits the Seattle region, and then it hits the Cascade Mountains, goes over, and then it becomes a desert. So, and then into Idaho it becomes grassland, and that's just it's an amazing piece of geology all throughout this area. Just the way that weather moves off of the ocean across the terrain, and it keeps getting changed as it goes. Like the Olympic Peninsula, where the weather comes in off of the Pacific Ocean. That is, it's a temperate rainforest. It gets so much rain off of the ocean that it's actually a rainforest. It's super cool too. There's various cruises and tours and stuff that you can go on into the Olympic Forest, and it's super tall old growth forest. It's gorgeous. Spruces and all sorts of fun stuff in there. Let's do that. There. Probably don't have a lot I have to do on this. I just want to make sure. I just want to clean it up, Clean it up, blend it in. It's looking pretty good. I like the big rocks that stick out into the water in Oregon. It's like giants it's almost like giants were lobbing stones into the ocean just to see who could flung them furthest, but they're just massive rocks. Hey, what is going on, man? I'm doing pretty good. I'm having a very mellow day. I had good sleep last night. I've got this thing that's locked up inside of my shoulder that's been trying to find a way out of my body. And it is tormenting me, but it will find a release eventually. There's this weird knot structure that goes from my ear all the way down to my shoulder from different damages that I had during as a kid that didn't heal properly and are coming back to bite me in the ass as I get older. So I'm actually at a fairly decent level of ongoing pain right now, but I know that suffering is a conversation that my body is trying to have with its past and letting it go. So I welcome the conversation and the suffering that I have to endure as a result of it, but it's a reckoning. It's a reckoning that hasn't been resolved for a very long time, and I get to experience it resolved. So for that, I am thankful. Makes the pain worth it. I fell off a cliff as a kid and I landed on my head. Basically, it was sunny. I was blind. I was on a bike. I was 5, so I didn't heed my parents' warning about riding my bike too close in the rock quarry to the cliff. I ignored them and I rode right the fuck off the cliff. It was about a 15-foot drop, and I landed on my chin. I had 27 stitches. As a 5-year-old, I had 27 stitches put into my chin. And that's a lot of stitch for a small face, and I landed like this, and then like vertically like this. My fingertips were my head. My head got jacked like this. My neck is cranked. And in the 80s, they didn't know what chiropractic was. They didn't know how to fix me. They just figured, cool, the kid walked away from it. He's gonna be fine. But my neck is that of a 90-year-old. It's all deteriorated and wrecked. And then in college, I had my shoulder dislocated, but I didn't have any insurance to pay for it, so it's set wrong. So the neck pain and the shoulder have over time fused together to help reinforce themselves, and that reinforcement locking in point is right here. So, but deep into where my spine is at. So there's so many things that use that as a leverage point to pull inside of my body. When I got hit by the truck and the impact wound on my hip, it's tethered its way up and it grabs hold of that knot like this. So when I loosen things up here, it actually pulls on all my hip injuries and my calluses in there. It makes all of that groan, and it stretches like thick toffee, or more like one of those kneading erasers. Like how difficult it is to make that heated up, to make it stretchy and rubbery. That's how these wounds in my body are like. And I think the heat that gets generated in my body is forgive the mumbo jumbo, but I think it's part of the healing process in general of working your awareness into where the wound is at, so you can find what is it stewing on. Because wounds stew on things; they get trapped in a moment, and if what happened in that moment is, for me at least, I don't know if this is everyone, but I do know for me, is emotional damage. Gets tied up physically inside my body, and it finds its way to that knot, so it festers inside of there. So as I deal with the memory of horrible things, it pulls, it heats up that knot, and it starts to pull on the wounds. So when my body starts releasing the tension from these wounds, it triggers the memories that I've linked to that time period in my life, and it all just melts into suffering. And that suffering is basically basically an acknowledgement of what I had endured, and then it somehow it gets released, and as they say, your chalice runs over. It spirals up my body into my head, and it starts to fill my head up, and I feel very much like I'm being drowned in it. And then it starts to like it hits the top of the crown, right? Because we're a Taurus, right? Here's the human body. Hello, and energy spirals up our spine through our body, and when it hits the top of our chakra, the crown, right, the top of the chalice, it spills out in the same rotation and comes back down our body, and then hits the bottom of our feet, the root chakra, and then it goes back up again. So this is the race, and that's the space that we are inside of, the Vitruvian Man that Da Vinci, Michelangelo depicted. That's the space of the toroid, and a toroid is exterior and then interior. Like that. It's basically it. Like I said, it spirals up the interior, and then it spirals out the exterior, and then it goes back into the interior and then back out. So it's just this rotation of energy that moves through our body and then outside of our body and then back into our body. And your awareness, here's the cool part about it. Your awareness is either inside or it's outside. If your awareness is focused outside, whatever is happening to you, bring into your energy field, into orbit with you, and you pull it into your root, and it becomes part of you. And then it works through you. You have to work all that, whatever that external experience is, suffering, frustration, obnoxiousness, pollution, all the exterior influences that come in and pressure your life, you pull them into your body. and they become your own personal pressure. And then you have to work through all of that pressure until it can finally get released again out of the top of your head. And it accelerates like 1,000-fold inside of your body, and then it ejects and launches back to heaven, and it's gone. So you're healing the world around you by absorbing the energies that are being released by our society and our earth and our sun. All of that right now is pain, suffering, and change that occurs. The other way that life works, though, instead, hold on, I'm going to bring that back and erase this. The other way life works, which is where we're trying to get to, is awareness starts in the center. And whatever you believe about yourself is what you start to, you begin with as accelerating. And when it hits the top, because it's inside of you and it was born of you, it remains in you. So it starts to cascade out of you into the environment around you. So you start projecting out of you what you believe is true about yourself. And when we come into this planet, we initiate with joy and thankfulness for being here. So we radiate this splendor and thankfulness and reverence for the experience that we hear, and we project that into the world. And as we finish that cycle of transmission, again, our awareness pulls back inside of ourselves to stay grounded inside the world. And we then, whatever the next point that's exciting us, that ramps up, projects out, and it just becomes light. So that's the cycle of life. So we're either internalizing exterior environment around us and perpetuate misery, or we start inside of our core and emit the light outward. Here's just a final statement about that. The fun thing about the human condition is that we come in transmitting light and projecting it out and creating opportunity for your life. But as you age and incorporate into your family structure, you get externalized on purpose so that you learn how to receive energy from around you, specifically to forget. By the time all of your systems come online and you know how to communicate properly and you can retain memories of things, and you age out of infancy into being a societal creature, at some point in there, the transition occurs where you stop referencing inside and you begin referencing outside, specifically the family unit that you're born into, so you can pull in all of the generational things that are propagated through their lives, and they push them into you as a child. And then you, on a generational quest, start to heal the traumas of that lineage, of your mother's and father's lineages that are born together. So you're on this holy quest to resolve suffering, disease, pain, hatred, bigotry, oppression, inequality, injustice, all these things that the human experience is capable of. We get born into it with the mission of taking a piece of it and lifting it out of humanity so that no one has to suffer a specific way ever again. And when you run out of ways to suffer, you as a species ascend upward into a higher level of awareness. But until you do, you're trapped in this fight with each other, kind of like how the ego fights the truth of reality as it attempts to retain control of itself. Society as a collective is going through that same experience, but we're all having an individual experience of it to basically help break it down into digestible chunks. So the suffering that I'm enduring right now is internalized from when I was a child, but I've been learning how to flip the script on the scenario and center my point inside. And as I do that, it pushes all these things that are inside of me outward to be healed, because they're trapped. These things were supposed to be healed when they came through me so I could release them, but we hold on to the things that come through us that we resonate with. It's like and we don't know why we resonate with what we resonate with, but we all have our patterns of, this is my suffering. This is the chip on my shoulder. This is my family's heritage flaw. These are the prides and prejudices that we carry with us that we haven't healed societally or even individually. So I hold it inside of me, and it becomes a resonation. It resonates inside of me as this is my life story. This is my development. This is my evolution. And as you become more and more aware of what that is, you can choose, do I want to stay in that path and carry this out, or do I want to release this and free myself of the obligation of holding it any further? So I can hold it until I have kids or I die, and I'll pass a piece of it on to children, and whatever piece I keep for myself, I'll die with. But then it'll get recycled back into humanity, and someone else is going to have to deal with it. Which is why you shouldn't kill people, because if they're broken, you don't heal them by killing them. That just takes, like, I guess Native Americans, for lack of a better word, indigenous people, I guess their culture would say that if you kill a man, the evil that caused that man to be worthy of death just gets reincarnated into someone somewhere else, and you don't know where it went. So now you have to find it again. So someone has to suffer again. So the best thing to do is to keep it inside of you and learn how to heal it, so that it doesn't need to express its suffering through anyone else again. So our mission as humans on this planet is to heal the things that we pick up and learn not to pick up anything new. So if we stop picking things up, those things will eventually just cycle out through the planet. But we're creative little creatures, and we grab hold of things because we are the Earth's children. We're in the kitchen making a mess while the mother is trying to actually cook something. But it's all going to be perfectly timed. It all happens the way that it should. And the things that happen, and the suffering that I experience in my life and that you experience in your life, is a microcosm, instance of what humanity as a whole is resolving. So you can be proud of the part that you play, but know that the goal is to find a way out of it, and to find a way for it to be able to release itself, and acknowledging it and just honoring its existence. Like, you've suffered long and hard, and you can go home now. And that's all it really wanted to do in the first place. It's just energy that got trapped here that was supposed to ascend, but it got caught inside of you, and it's been trying to find a way out ever since. And you won't let it go until you've basically, reached the end of whatever the script says you're supposed to hold on to it. Because our life is a cascade of emotional events that occur, and the emotions are what we're actually resolving. And the story that we have, the experience that we have in our daily life of walking through things, is just the narrative of what the emotions are doing. I could have the perfect life, I could have the perfect marriage, I could have the perfect kids, but if my script says you're going to doubt the stability of your relationship, so that it can stimulate the sense of betrayal for you, then it doesn't matter what your family is, you'll feel that sense of betrayal around them. It's irrational, but it's how the emotions get processed. And if it wasn't your family, it would be your job. I feel insecure at my job. Well, it's not that your job is insecure, or your family are lousy, or that your spouse is cheating on you. It's that you're supposed to feel insecure right now. And the way that your life is manifesting, your ego, as it were, is finding the most efficient scenario that it can to fulfill the order of what in your life could make you feel betrayed right now, because right now you're supposed to feel betrayed. It's like, well, I guess I'm going to feel that my friend just said something that normally I would think is really fucking funny. But right now I'm going to be offended by it because I'm supposed to feel offended right now. And it kind of disarms the things that happen to you. It's like, that pisses me off. Why? Because I'm supposed to be pissed off right now. And it doesn't actually need to be anything more, like, there's nothing more profound about it. The profound thing is that you're supposed to be angry in the first place. It's like, wow, you came here to resolve that. So for the rest, from the rest of society to you, thank you for tackling whatever bullshit it is that you have to go through that's making you such a raging jerk right now. And then you have to figure out, well, I am being a raging jerk right now. I need some quiet time so that this thing inside of me can process. And maybe being in a fight with you at a bar right now over a team isn't the correct scenario for me to release that suffering. But I'm going to bump into people that will trigger that suffering. Because if I'm supposed to go through like rage, if I'm supposed to be rage and indignant at people for like another 3 years for this thing to end up processing, me becoming a Bruins fan might not be a bad idea. And not just a fan, like a die-hard fan, like a hardcore fan, like out of nowhere, I am obsessed with chess. And that allows me to feel, every time I lose a game and I'm stupid about losing the game, something I think I should have learned, it's an opportunity for me to feel disappointment in myself. So I think I've been reintroduced to chess. And I'm excited to go downtown because I've got a commute ahead of me, like a 2-hour commute ahead of me that I can spend a lot of time cracking out chess games and having the opportunity to either get better at that or to experience the exquisite suffering of indignant loss. So anyway, that's what the muse has decided to talk about today while she's hammering pixels out on the screen with you guys. Take it for what it's worth. It's my own personal philosophy. It's what allows me to be excited about my next day and to how I can weather chaos and storms in my life. Like when something goes wrong, I can look at that philosophy and recognize that wrongness, the hate that it stirs up inside of me, is the most efficient way to resolve that suffering. And so if I can get into it, I can be like, where is this? What is this healing? What is this finding? Why was this the perfect solution? And I can even play with like other situations. Like, well, if I was supposed to be angry at something, I wasn't a Bruins fan. What else could I possibly be that would stir up this kind of rage inside of me? And it allows you to honor the rage that you're experiencing while also making a disconnected narrative about it. And that's why I think one of the amazing things about role-playing games is that you really do get to drop yourself emotionally into situations that are otherwise impossible. But if you're obsessed with gaming, it's because the energies inside of you sees an opportunity to create a resolution for you. It's like I can release this story through this role-playing game, and I can also resolve some emotional stuff of interaction with the people that are on the team with you that'll either vibe or piss you off. It's really exquisite. It's just exquisite. Anyway, that's me. Hey, Colonel. I don't understand the question. But yeah, we're if you're new to the channel, Colonel, I don't recall seeing your name before, but this is a 16:9 PDF document that I made. If you're looking at it on your device on full screen, it should pretty much be filling. It's hard to do it perfectly because it's Photoshop that I'm using. It's not designed to snap to my screen like the document will be. But this is a PDF document for an Eberron adventure that I'm creating. It's a 16:9 format, and each individual column is also 16:9. So you can look at each page horizontally, or you can look at each column vertically, and the whole book is designed to have complete thoughts in each vertical column so that you can kick through the document and have a general idea of what's going on, and then you can get hyper specific on a specific, like what's going on in a specific column. And so I create play tests and illustrate role-playing game stuff in PDFs, and then I publish them. And I've been focusing on Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. So I publish stuff on the DMsGuild. I was interested to see and somewhat disappointed yesterday when the SRD 5.2 dropped with the 5e24 rules inside of it. It's now in the Creative Commons. But they didn't include anything in Bastions. Bastions is only in the DMG, which means that if the Bastion campaign book that we've been creating, if Bastions had ended up in the Creative Commons, I could have released the Bastion campaign book as a solo thing on my Patreon or on like DTRPG, independent of the DMs Guild. But since Bastions remain in the DMG, that means that the idea and mechanics of Bastions remain on the DMs Guild. Luckily, there's like 4 different ways that I can express the Bastion campaign mechanically, depending on which role-playing game we're using. I just started with 5e because 5e created the Bastions, and it was a better. The Bastion campaign system is a better framework to create a Dominion-style campaign than the framework I had already been developing for 5e. So I actually like the framework of the Bastion system in the DMs Guild, in the Dungeon Master's Guide. But the Bastion campaign, the Bastion system in the DMG is a social pillar domain system. It doesn't have actions and consequences. It has a narrative that grants you magic items and other types of treasure over time for engaging in that social narrative. So it's found a way to remove D&D characters from the dungeon and reward them with wealth and like NPC allies and other perks without actually having to combat or explore, just engage in social interactions. So the Bastion system is fantastic for people that aren't necessarily interested in going on adventures, but like want to do courtroom stuff. Well, the Bastion system really accommodates that idea, but there's no risk or reward. There's no ability checks. There's no hit point lossage. There's no risk. So it's flat. So the Bastion campaign system that we've been developing, that is utilizing, that adds ability checks and a consequence system to failure so that you can use that as a means of propelling your campaign in combat, in exploration, and in social encounters by using the Bastion as a framework. So that came out yesterday. I was neutral in discovering that the Bastion was not part of the SRD. I assumed it wasn't going to be, and I prepared accordingly. But that style of campaign is awesome. I've been my home table has been running a Bastion campaign for the past year, an Eberron Spelljammer asteroid belt mining campaign that I am just absolutely in love with, and so from that we've been developing the 5e Bastion mechanics, which is what I stream on Mondays and Thursday nights when I do game design. Why am I talking about this? I don't remember. Oh well, I'll go back and maybe I'll remember why. Something triggers rants inside of me and I start ranting. So cheers. Like, this feels off now. I think I need to shift, like break across like that. I think I need to grab all of that and pull it forward. Like that. Yeah, that feels more in line. Let me make sure we're centered up properly. There. I think there's text going on. Give me a second. Let me get myself back to square and I'll check out what's going on. Right along the rift. There we go. Good. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Nice, man. I love the Bastion system. I played Roll Master. Oh, right on. Old school. Percentiles forever, my man. Back then as a PC game at the moment, mixing 90s Final Fantasy and Super. Oh, super fun. The art is really effective. I am the game artist as well. Photoshop is my current god. Photoshop is my current god. We all pay time in the Photoshop prison. While we're at it, I'm going to hit save before it crashes on me. Oh my god, I haven't had any coffee this morning. Can you believe I'm this jazzed up without coffee? Colonel, if you haven't seen it, here, I'll let you stare at the undead horde that I created prior to the artifacts. I'm going to be right back, pour myself a cup of coffee. Uh-oh. That's my 20-minute timer. I have a 20-minute timer set, so I will fall through this painting. I will fall through this painting if I don't have a timer going to help pull me out of it every 20 minutes. And it's 7:10 right now in Seattle, so my day job, I have to log out of here and start being a corporate man at 8 o'clock. So 40 minutes from now, it'll be 7:50. That's time for me to bounce out of here. And then I'll be back tomorrow morning to do more artwork. So I wake up, I roll out of bed, I put on a pot of coffee, and then I log in here and I start painting. And I get about an hour and a half of painting in every morning. That allows me to basically satisfy my creative itch. And it allows me to honor and respect my day, to get my corporate stuff done that grants me the paycheck that allows me to come home and paint more when I'm done. So this is a means for me to not, like, I used to pine away and like, God, when do I get to paint? And like, I would want to just like, you know, doodle or whatever, because I had all of this art energy that built up overnight. And I couldn't do anything with it until after I finished a day of, you know, computer mining, as it were, working the salt mines on the computer. And so this pattern of life has allowed me to be able to focus on whatever moment and whatever role it is that I'm supposed to have, because the creative, the muse, she gets satisfied in the morning, and she'll want more in the evening, of course. She's always hungry. But I can get through the day, and she can just send me love letters and remind me of how much she's excited that I come home to still do some more art with her. As Ozzy Osbourne would say, there is a woman, she lives in my head. She comes and visits every night in bed. If you're not an Ozzy Osbourne fan, he has a very particular style, is it tenor? Is that the right word? Tenor to his voice, and he also his official albums have a ton of distortion effects to make it like screech. He's like a harpy. His singing is like a fucking harpy. But it's just so uniquely Ozzy Osbourne. It's actually really cool, and I would say of the Ozzy Osbourne independent Ozzy Osbourne records, like outside of Black Sabbath, Osmosis I think that came out like in 90. I want to say like in 94, something like that, somewhere around there. Anyway, Osmosis, that is a fucking good album. There is a lot of really good music. And his songs are about like whatever, you know, about whatever's on his mind, so there's no. It's kind of like Led Zeppelin and the Stones, and it's all just kind of all over the place, and like what the subject matter can be. It has like a lot of rock, like, you know, like a lot of his stuff is about like coping with addiction or like excessive drinking. Like there's hints of that throughout his music and his solo work. Black Sabbath was really far more, I guess I want to say, oddly enough, I want to say kind of whimsical, in that it's kind of approaching the world from a perspective of spirits and demons. But I'd say Ozzy on his own is a lot more grounded. It's like, yeah, I've fought a lot of wars with demons and I've lost a lot, and now I'm looking at life experience at a slower gear outside of the front line. It's interesting. Big Aussie fan. There. Yeah, I like that. It looks pretty cool. It's not quite done. We're working our way down the stem, so we're only halfway there. We're halfway done. Should be good today. Hey Zayd, how you doing? That's a great song too, Fox. Yeah, I'm Coming Home is a fucking great song. Fox, you were around yesterday. You probably saw the image, but I finished. I'm pretty content with the seed of Lamia at this point. I think it turned out really nice. I spent maybe 2 hours on it last night as well, just to finish it up. But I think it's I think that's good to go. Let's grab some of this and bring it in here. I need to up the strength and the size of the brush. The complexity of the smudge brush that I'm using doesn't operate well at the 3 pixels size. It's got too much information. I need to drop that down maybe to 80%. There we go. That feels good. See, now when I grab pixels, I can pull them around a little bit more finger painterly. This wood grain, a finger paint approach is, I think, really the best way to work with snarls and knots and stuff. God, I love that. Well, what is really just the most blessed thing for me is that I call it my muse. You could call it just autonomic control or intuition or whatever, but to me it's a very literal personality conversation inside of myself. That's how it's manifested for me, and I wouldn't want it any other way. But I become a passenger in the experience here, and so I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have an image in my head of what this is supposed to look like. I don't visualize anything. I rarely have a plan at all when I start working. I just know like I needed a flute, a flute that represented, like, that connects to the plane of air, and that's the order that I put out, and then I get to watch the solution manifest. So I bounce around the picture, and I push things, and I tap buttons, and I know what the buttons are that are being tapped, but I'm not consciously thinking about tapping the buttons. I'm just playing jazz. I'm just playing jazz. And I've gotten to a point in my skill here that I don't have to actively control it for the most part. I can just release it to play itself. So I get to watch it. I get to watch the art happen just like you guys do. I like, at a certain extent, I'm at the same level of control that you guys in the audience are at. That you're seeing these things come about, but I'm only becoming aware of what's going to happen, like just an instant sooner than you are. I rarely know what anything is going to look like. Like, I know I have this space to fill, and I want to have like an archer doing something in that space. And that's where it starts. And then from there, it just does it itself. I just put in the work order, and I give it the space, and I give it my body to run the program, and the art it makes itself. I'm just a passenger, and it's amazing. The surrender of control in the creative process. And the more I surrender control of the pixels, the more the conversations inside of me expand. And I start talking about shit that I've never said that before. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about right now. And then I'll wake up out of it. It's like, oh wow, that's intense. Like that toroid conversation that I had earlier. Never, like that's not me. I don't know where that came from, but it's fucking awesome. I see text. I'll catch up with you in a second. God, I love this. We just go with the explorers. A Baroque, a no Rocho approach to crosshatch in my line artwork, dark shades, and I print light the same way using light. Oh yeah, right on. Yeah. I like to layer in dark light and then like put the undershadow and then overlay the light on top of it. Like when I do black and white, when I do black and white art. I'll very much create patterns by just erasing what was there to help lighten it. Same way I've experimented with like different underlying, like different colors underlaying, and then using like a lighter color to like do chalk, like to do a chalk type illustration. It just depends on what the lighting is going to end up being. It's a lot of fun. There's so many cool ways you can screw around with illustration. It's so open. I love it. I got to admit, I was kind of excited about getting into doing like zine-style RPGs as an indie producer, like with Kickstarters and stuff, and then this tariff stuff started happening, and I'm like, well, I mean, PDFs don't have tariffs, so just keep focused on PDFs, and because if I do PDFs, I can't color unless I'm doing digital work because I don't see color. So I was kind of excited about the idea of doing a black and white physical book, like a zine, where I just do ink art in it and like sketches, like a lot looser style. The DMs, for as much as I love the DMs Guild, my one complaint about it is how it compels me to do color work. Which is ironic because I revel in being able to actually do color at all. So like I love spending time doing color. But it also takes like so fucking much more time than just sketching, like ink sketches and stuff. It's the work plus a whole like 3 times more work. So it's doing the line, like doing the sketch and then the line art and then the inking and then the color and then the blending of the inking into the color. That's all the steps I go through to do each one of these pieces, and that's a lot of fucking labor. It looks, I am stoked about the results. I never have a complaint about these results. I just lament that I'm compelled to do it, and that the tariff situation is further pushing me into that scenario. But I mean, obviously what that says is that I'm supposed to be working in color, and when I'm not, I won't. So again, I have to take away my own personal responsibility from this because I am not calling the shots in my life like at fucking all. I can act, I can play the role of being in charge of my life, but I know it's just, I know I'm running a script and that I won't, and I don't know what the script is while I'm in the act. Because I'm a method actor. We're method actors. We forget everything that we know so that we become who we are. So that when we walk away from who we are and become all we know, who we are becomes what we know as well. And we expand. So I will always be Phil, but I will eventually probably be you as well. But we only get to live one life at a time, so we don't get to revel in it until we're dead. can't do it wrong because it's all been scripted so that you have specific emotional experiences that you set up as your story, as your role-playing game. You and the great DM in the sky have built a character arc that you as a player are absolutely in love with, that you as a character are going to be terrified experiencing. You're going to come out the other side of it and you're going to have loved the ride. Layer over layers, yeah, right on. And cross hat. Oh, yeah, I get ya. You're killing it, bro. Thanks, man. Yo. Yeah, this we're playing a roguelike game called Humanity. You get one life with one. You get one life with this one scenario, and you're going to run, and you're going to get what you get out of it, and then you're going to queue up again, and it's going to be randomized. I will be a 1975 Chinese peasant in my next life. I hit the randomizer, and that's what it came up as. I will be an Ethiopian prince in the year 2000 BC. That will be my next scenario. Ooh, a fit of silence. Enjoy. Phil, shut up for a second. He must be pausing and reflecting. I can't help get metaphysical. When I dive into art, like really dive into art, it pulls out all of this soul stuff out of me. But it's just that isolation that you have from doing artwork. It pulls that out because all you have is this conversation with yourself. I gotta say, man, there is no dopamine kick like doing art, because it is like every brush stroke is a success, is a victory, and then once you start pairing them together, like with a section of a piece, and that section looks awesome. That's another dopamine hit. Nothing, I tell you, man, getting good at creative art, nothing scratches that chemical itch like art. You gotta get good enough, quote unquote, good enough. You have to get so good at your process that you can lose yourself inside of it so you can have that experience. And that takes time. And most people are not willing to put in the time to reach that state. That's the real crime of AI, is that it takes people that could find themselves in the process of getting good. Like if they have to get good at art to have art, they have the opportunity to forget who they are and become who they want to be. And AI is creating a shortcut that some people that could have had that process of self-discovery and self-contemplation won't have it because they're being handed solutions that are too easy. It's raising the ladder on spiritual progression for artists. I'm going to take this here, like this curve like that. Here, let's trim that away. But I don't hate the AI. I respect what it is. And I can't lie, the idea of me taking art into Photoshop and then making it three-dimensional to be able to make like a diorama out of an illustration, I'm compelled by that idea. I only use Photoshop 2021, so it doesn't have all the cool AI tools in it that Adobe offers now. I don't know how any of that shit works. I just haven't touched any of it. I like the Photoshop that I have. I know how this works. I would have been fine with Photoshop 95, honestly. That program was working pretty damn good for me. That feels good. Yeah, that feels good. Merge down. Better. Not perfect, but good enough. It doesn't need to be perfect. That's the glory of organic shapes. I've got what? I got 20 minutes left. We're doing okay. If I don't finish this on stream, I will, by golly, be done with it tomorrow, tonight. No problem. By golly. Hold on, there's text going on. I think I'm falling behind. Can't let you kids be unsupervised for too long. Because you're exactly, the flow, exactly. That's where the muse lives. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. God, that flow state is just, oh. It's God. It's touching God. Love it. And all you want to do is sustain it because it sustains you. It's like I don't need to eat. I don't need to sleep. Time disappears. I don't age. That's what they say, quote unquote. They that when you're in the flow state, it was Einstein that said it. Thank you. It's relativity. When you're in that flow state and you don't notice the perception and passing of time, you are literally not aging. Which is why the happier you are, the younger you look as you age. You don't look like you're that old. It's like, well, yeah, it's because I fucking love what I'm doing. All I want to do is that forever. So the body just finds a way to sustain itself through that experience. I'm still having a hard time believing I'm 50. Fucking 50. I've been doing this shit for half a century, and I think I'm rocking it. We're working our way through it. Almost there. Stay on target. The muse demands fluid. I will abide. Two slurps of water to one slurp of coffee. That's your ratio to avoid dehydration. You have to drink twice as much water as whatever else it is that you're drinking in your life. Whether it's coffee, Coke, juice. Because none of that stuff actually hydrates you proper like. Like, went to Cheesecake Factory for Easter brunch and had fresh squeezed orange juice. There's like 4 oranges in that glass, and like that was it. They literally like have a squeezer, a juicer. They literally have like an orange juicer and a giant bag of oranges back there, and they just squeeze out orange juice. That stuff was amazing. It's some of the best orange juice I've ever had in my life. God damn, I was thirsty because it was so thick. It was so thick. They're like, these are fresh squeezed oranges. Are you okay with pulp? I'm like, oh my God, yes. It's like, okay, we got you. But yeah, he's like, do you want some water? I'm like, yeah. He knew. He knew exactly what was going on. It's funny. Yeah, that looks good. I like that. I'm just tweaking little details and, you know, just being nitpicky. But I don't technically have a deadline. I mean, have it completed while 5e is still a relevant game system would be a decent objective. But my goal is to be done with it this year. Ideally November. I mean, I would have liked to have been done. I'd like to be done in September, and if I'm done sooner, that'll be amazing. If I'm done later, so be it. I can't control it anyway. But September is where I believe it's going to be done, which is like a 3-year project. I took a whole year off to do Spelljammer. And God bless Stuart and Andy, who Stuart is my editor and Andy is my co-writer. And God bless both of them allowing me the grace to, like, I have to do this I had to do Spelljammer. There was nothing in the verse that could have stopped me from doing that. And they're like, oh, okay. Just get her done. And I'm like, okay. So they've been super gracious and patient with it, because they're getting percentages of this when it's done because of their participation in its production. And I'm probably gonna end up just sending them some cash on top of it. It's like, you guys have waited like way too fucking long. Here, have money. Again, I'm not anxious to make this my full-time job, because then I have to worry about things like, when am I going to get paid again? You know? Like, what a fucking horrible thing to do to art. So I'm being very meticulous in making sure that the way that I make this all happen is a way that I'm going to just naturally do it anyway. And if it ends up making so much money that I can't afford to go into work tomorrow, then I'll quit. But until then, I'm fine with whatever the process is, because this is already fulfilling my dream of being able to do art every day and make books and have folks in my life that seem to appreciate it, and, you know, blah blah blah. So like, as far as like wish fulfillment, this is where I'm at right now, is already ticking every box about what I thought being in role playing, like building role playing games and stuff like that, would be like. The next thing that's starting to crop up is running games at conventions. I've put together enough tools, or rather to say, I have enough tools in the pipeline right now that once I've finished making the current batch of like 5 books or whatever that I've been working on, when those get out, I think I'm going to have a large enough library that I can start cobbling together game experiences in, you know, 2-hour chunks to have at conventions, because we have Pacts here, we have Emerald City Comic Con here. Hell, even Sakura Fest is a decent role playing event. There's a lot of gamer shit that happens in the Seattle area, and I don't typically tap into it because A, I don't navigate crowds so good, and B, it's difficult for me to transport materials because I don't drive. So I have to bus. I can't even rent a truck. You know, I have to bus everywhere I go, or get an Uber, and loading up an Uber with a bunch of material that needs to be in a van, that sounds like chaos to me. I do not vibe with it. But I can feel a conspiracy towards me getting to conventions and running like color mana games, or like when I actually build out Guild Delvers. That's probably going to be when I actually start hitting conventions, because I want to promote that as a role-playing game. Plus, it's such a light system. It's just such a fast, fluid game system that it's easy. As long as you have some dice, you know, all you need is an index card and some Euclidean dice, and you're good to go. And depending on you only need 2 dice. You need a D20, and you need whatever your proficiency die is, D6, D8, D10, D12, whatever. You only need 2 dice at a time for the entire game. So, and as you gain levels, your die increases. So you'll want to have a whole stack. If you're going to run a full campaign, you want to have 5 dice. The 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 20. 6 dice. I'm thinking about a Shadowrun sort of like fantasy cyber hacking Shadowrun. It's a really cool RPG, but the dice pool system I think is a mess. But I love the narrative, so I kind of want to rebuild Shadowrun as a Delver game. I feel like the perspective is off a little bit. I think I unintentionally skewed the perspective on this. Let's check. Here's how it was. Here's how it is. I can see the here, and here off. Here and here, these feel a little bit more balanced. This is actually, I think this actually is a little bit better. I think my problem here is this front end knot. It's a little off balance. Like this needs to be a little thinner here. But I need to have this knot come forward a little bit more like this. Like that. That should fix. I feel like I'm down to like 5 minutes. 7 minutes and 22 seconds, actually. All right. I mean, we're getting gritty to the knit. How's that? Does feel better. This foreshortening is different from this foreshortening. This is more linear perspective, while this feels foreshortened. So let's fuck with it. Just a smidge. I want to stretch and thin. Maybe. I bet Perspective Tool is going to help here. Oh, yeah. And now just a little bit of skew. And warp. There we go. Oops is a little off. Actually, I think a tilt will probably no, that skewed it too far. I need to skew it in a little bit. And then rotate a little bit more. Nope. Not quite. Maybe I save these things separately. So I don't have to have regurg, but I think that actually sits pretty good. Let's see if we can have that work. Ballsy to get into surgery like that with like 2 minutes to go, but there it is. Okay, yeah, I think that worked out well. I'm pleased. I am pleased. So we're gonna lock that down there. Yeah, we still got 3 minutes, so let's go ahead and clean up this front edge here. This is the last place I need to go to finish up a piece. See, when I have to think about what I'm doing like that, like I completely slowed down my flow. Like I had to drop out of cruise control into like the street surface shit and pay attention to traffic and stuff. Pain in the ass. Let's do this. Blend, blend, blend. Blend, blend, blend. Just get it done. Arr, I see erase button, Kearney. Yeah, I hear ya. Shut up. I'm going to, I've still got a few minutes. I'm going to see if I can just resolve this and feel content. I mean, signs point to yes. Very yes. There, that's what I wanted to do. See, like when I start tilting my head that way, it's because I'm concentrating. I'm like a dog, huh? What are you doing? Just like that. Take this and just pull that dark out a little bit into the edges. There we go. Yeah, we're moments away from being done. We're damn near out of stuff to do on this page. There we go. I mean, yeah, I could spend more time obsessing over the fingers. I don't think it's going to improve the composition. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to go ahead and say save. My Muse just hit the save button, so I think this is where I'm at. I might pick at that some more tonight. I think I'm pretty content with it as is. Cool. So I'm going to go ahead and call that one done. Fuck it. That leaves me the Crown of Zoriat. This is going to be the next one that we work on. And then we have the Carillion of Dalcor. The Scales of Donvi. I think that's the name of that plane of balance. Yeah, Donvi, the perfect order. And then the Sextant of Fernia. We'll come back through and we'll finish up playing with the line art and stuff with this. So, like we have some tick marks and stuff that we need to put on this curve down here. Like we got a little bit of work to do on this one. So we're gonna push that one to the last, but the rest of them are done. So 1, 2, 3 at the bottom, and then 4 at the top, and then donezo. Done with the page. On to the next piece. So we're almost there. It's Wednesday today. I'll probably get done with the Crown tomorrow night, and then the Carillion on maybe I'll be done with the Crown and the Carillon by Friday. The Scales of Donvi, those are damn near done. So I'm hoping that Monday and then the Sextant on Tuesday. So by this time next week, if everything goes as according to plan, we'll be on a completely different page of this adventure. I think I've spent 2 months on this page in the mornings like this. I mean, that's ridiculous. There's a lot of other pages that we're already done with already. But this page in particular was intense. Like a lot of shit. Let's bring that back. Thank you. Yep, that's it. I'm done. I'm out of here for the day. I will be back tomorrow morning, guys. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for hanging out with me, guys. Let me rant a little bit. It's been a lot of fun. This has been a great day for me. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow. And yeah, thanks a lot. Cheers.